Hello my friends and welcome. As you see, we have really positive news coming from the Pokros direction. Guys, it is really a miracle as for me. And it shows that the Ukrainian army is really damn capable in organizing those counterattacks. Especially units like Azov, Vulsov Da Vinci, 25th Ukrainian Brigade and many more who took the part in this operation. It was an emergency one, but it worked really well. So Russians were pushed further away from the main Ukrainian defense lines in Donbass, while in Kucherov Yar still there is the defense where Russia continued to stay, some of the Russian soldiers, but they are completely cut from their main supplies. Azov also did the great job pushing Russians away from Dobropilya. This is the important settlement in this place. And now, I would say, with those new reinforcements applied, there is the risk for Russia to lose their influence or this half encirclement of Ruzzians, which could potentially stabilize the situation for Pokrovsk and for Mirnograd, because Ruzziansk plays the great role here. The deep state military map also confirms kind of the bad situation for the Russian army, especially in Kucherov Yar. So Russian soldiers are just trapped here, encircled. So guys, the Russian breakthrough just failed in a matter of several days, as fast as it started. And you may say, Dennis, you panicked a lot at the very beginning saying that this situation is terrible. Guys, I still follow my words, this situation is terrible. It should have never ever happened, first of all. This kind of the breakthrough happened because of the failure of Ukrainian defense. So Ukraine had to call emergency services, emergency forces to counteract this new Russian breakthrough. It was a breakthrough because Russians went behind main Ukrainian defense in Zoloty Kolodets, and in the future they might repeat those attempts, but for now they've been cancelled, and it was only possible because of the Ukrainian soldiers. The original cause of this situation is Ukrainian military command incompetence in this direction, unfortunately. I do not refuse saying it like that. This successful Ukrainian counterattack doesn't cancel that fact. And it is just a professionalism and some part of luck that it happened like that. Some of the analytics were saying, oh, Russians sent just few of the soldiers there, those were the small sabotage groups. No, those were not. There were hundreds of the Russian soldiers deployed, yeah, without heavy armored vehicles, but still, Russia mainly assaults with infantry forces. Those were not the small sabotage groups, yeah, maybe at first, but then Russia sent significant reinforcements to this direction. Some of the analytics say that it's some sort of the Russian flag operation, just few of the people were deployed taking Ukrainian trenches, it's not a breakthrough. No, it was, and it is important to tell about it, to avoid those things to happen again. And I've told you the situation as it is and as it is developing. And it is great, this outcome in this situation is just awesome. It shows outstanding performance of Ukraine. I may call it even a heroism of Ukrainian army, but first of all, those situations should not happen, yeah? And I'm very happy that I followed this informational way from Ukrainian volunteers, Ukrainian military, who said about this case that we need to cancel this breakthrough. And finally, Ukrainian military command acted very fast. I follow the Officer Plus, this is our commander on the front lines. He also thanked everyone who said the real situation update about this breakthrough, that it is important to tell about it without any sort of the sugarcoating. And one more reason why those were not the small sabotage groups, after all, is that the 1st Azov Corps plus other units deployed, they report about significant casualties in the Russian army caused by the Ukrainian counterattack in this direction. Again, we're speaking about hundreds and hundreds of the Russian troops. If those were the small sabotage groups, like 5 people or something like that, Russia wouldn't have got those significant losses. That's why, again, it was the major breakthrough, which was firefighted by Ukrainian very capable units. And for the Kucherov Yar, you may see, well, there could be also hundreds of the Russian soldiers actually encircled because they were sent forward to take the defense lines in Zoloty Kolodets and Vesele. And now the situation for those troops is absolutely not okay. I think they will surrender to Ukrainian army. I already have some of the videos showing the Russian soldiers basically surrendering to Ukraine. Image from the 93rd Separate Motorized Brigade, Holodny Yar, really capable guys. They are at Pikuika Street, Vesela village. So Vesela was liberated. Vesela is on top here, so none of the building of the village survived. Yeah, some of the Russians who were imprisoned in this direction. Who was not imprisoned, well, they have their drone photos. And we have the statement of the 1st Azov Corps of the National Guard. They say that for the last 3 days, in coordination with other units, they were able to counter-strike the Russian assault and cleared villages of Hruske, Rubizhne, Novovodine, Petrivka, Vesela and Zoloty Kolodets. So this particular area, Russian losses 271 0 to 101 wounded, 13 captured, 1 tank kaboomed, 2 armored vehicles on the way, 37 motorcycles and 3 guns. They probably meant artillery. But again, there were more Russian soldiers who just left the area by the time Azov and different Ukrainian units started this counteroffensive. Plus, potentially Russia could be trapped in 2 more spots in this area, so if Ukraine intensifies the attacks from Nikoronivka, and we see that Ukraine is taking the ground, and also pushes from Mayak village, Russia could be trapped even here. The ears of the bunny could be cut 2 of the times. Also from Mayak, again, there is the river going, and Russia has not reliable for now supply connection lines, which potentially could be hit by Ukraine, so Russia will not be able to advance even to Rodenska, and the forces they deployed in Fedorovka and Suvorova could stay with just limited supplies, which means 1 more potential trap for Russia. And 1 more positive news, that for sure Russia is not under control of this road that goes from Dobropilya to Kramatorsk. It is one of the most important supply lines, especially if we speak about this Russian big advancement hub, so the connection between Pokrovsk and Konstantinovka, which was cut long time ago. Definitely, guys, fantastic news for today, and what's supposed to be like the huge win for Russia before Putin's meeting with Trump actually appeared to be failed operation. Well, it doesn't really mean that Russia lost the attack pace, that they're losing the front lines. No, Ukraine was just forced to use this counterattack, and again, if Ukraine forced to deploy those elite forces to cut Russian attack, it means that it was really serious breakthrough, yeah, that required immediate assistance, and obviously the forces were taken from other directions. After all, Ukraine has way less resources compared to the Russian side, and Russia still keeps, in general, they keep the advantage on the front line. And what is happening on the ground, in my opinion, is more important than what is happening in politics. Because we know, yeah, what is happening right now with that Putin's visit to United States, really humiliation of USA. It has never been like that before, I think, in United States history. Just a shit show. And I'm really happy to see those positive news in those dark times for democracy. Well, nevertheless, I heard the reports that Kramatorsk, Konstantinovka, Sloviansk, those are not important, like Ukraine has this big territory. I also tend to say like that, but after all of the military logistics of Ukrainian army is located in Donbass. So if Russia occupies those territories little by little, still, yeah, they propel on the front lines in many of the areas. If Ukraine loses its main defense line and military logistics, Russia would increase the pace to reach Dnipro, to reach Kharkiv, because Ukraine in this case will be forced to use more of the resources. Why I was concerned, yeah, the main reason that the Russians broke through the Ukrainian newly built defense line, the major one. So if Russians do it massively, they might go straight forward to the open areas very fast, much faster compared to what they do right now with the pace. And let's stay in this perspective because, yeah, some people say that Russia is not propelling really fast. Yeah, they're not propelling fast, but they propel forward. Like, for example, let's go to 2023, August 15. So it was like this, yeah? I hope you can see it. And today. I would say it's kind of the substantial movement they have on the front lines, advancing, taking Vuhledar, Kurakhova and everything close to Pokrovsk. And my analysis, despite this Ukrainian counteroffensive, doesn't change at all. I think that Russians will occupy Pokrovsk and Mirnograd after all, and it will happen this year, as well as the fight for Konstantinovka, because Russia is pouring lots of the resources here. In Pokrov's direction, actually, we have more positive news. You see, Ukraine seized the operation of the Russian sabotage groups, which were heading towards Pokrovsk little by little. Well, still Russia may send those, but for now Ukraine targets them all. Nevertheless, Russia wants to propel, and you see how they concentrate their strikes on Ukrainian positions in Pokrov. So it's definitely the aim, one of the main aims for Russia, this settlement. However, if Ukrainian counterattack continues in this northern part, not far away from Rodinsk, Russians will struggle. And still, my friends, why this Russian breakthrough after all failed is because they have poor supplies across this river. Yeah, if it is dry, the river is not over there, but still this is the difficult terrain and Russia cannot move their heavy vehicles here, and they're just forced to use those kind of the roads which are under Ukrainian strikes. So too much ambitions target with poor logistic supply lines. Again, mistake of the Russian army, they always struggle with logistics. It happened in February 2022, then Russia started this crazy war and they sent their forces without any sort of the supplies or reliable supplies, and they continue to make those mistakes even now. Apparently for today we have just positive updates for Ukrainian army. Well, there was the Russian assault towards Zeleny Guy a couple of days ago, but now Ukraine tries to move ahead with a counterattack, maybe trying to cut the Russian forces from the northern side. But as you may see, Russia is using lots of the artillery on the Ukrainian positions. Plus, in Syria's direction, Russia again tried to attack with tanks. This attack failed for them miserably. Well, actually it happened 3 days ago, but I haven't seen this report yet. Yeah, there are some of the vehicles. I think I reported about it, yes. We're not gonna include it to the most recent Russian ups. Alright guys, I understand that there is lots of the stuff happening around Putin's visit to Alaska, United States of America, but it's not the topic of today's video really. I want to record a dedicated analysis to this one after we'll receive some sort of the outcome. I'm recording this video at almost 1 AM Central European time and I'm waiting for the press conference, and after it I may tell you about the meeting outcome. Before it, I don't see the reason to even talk about it, except that it was really a humiliation of the United States and total cringe. Okay, so I have just finished the stream for my trash channel, and there I spoke about the Trump-Putin press conference. So the outcome is that the conference totally failed, but unfortunately it failed for democracy, and Putin reached his goals. He humiliated the United States of America. Yeah, it was very big mistake to receive Putin in Alaska. More about it I'm gonna tell you in my next update. Plus I want to share my thanks for Patreon supporters who make this job possible. Guys, thank you for maintaining my motivation, especially right now then we have some of the issues with YouTube. I mean monetization of those war related videos. So thank you so much guys for supporting me. The link for my Patreon is in the video description just below. And guys, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.